everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. I am Jen. This is Bookmark by Jen, and welcome to my best of 2024. I say that with a little bit of anxiety because it is really hard. I need to turn on a light. Hold please. Well, that's a little bit better. I forgot to turn on my light. I do have some natural lighting, but I need a little bit of lighting on this side. Okay, let's get back to it. I had a little bit of anxiety about this video. I love this type of video. I'm about to film a worst of, I hate that word, but worst of, which I've never done before, and that gave me anxiety coming up with the list as well, even though like I knew what was going to be on that list. Anyway, this gives me a little bit more anxiety because preemptively I started a list just to see how I could narrow it down. There were 33 books on there. And I thought to myself, okay, do I want to do a 12 books? Because I definitely don't want to do 24 books of 2024, even though that sounds amazing, but I do not want to edit 24 books of 2024. Then I was like, well, what if I do half? I could do 12. And then I was just like, okay, Jen, we're going to do the top 10. You're going to have to narrow it down. It was hard. It was hard. Some of them were no-brainers, but it was hard. So I do have a honorable mentions that will be at the very end of this video. So there you go. It gives me anxiety, guys. It really does. So let's get into my best of 2024. These are in no particular order other than they are in the chronological order that I read them, because trying to put them in some sort of order that I can't do it. I cannot do it. So without further ado, here we go, the top 10. We're starting off, I started off the year with a bang, with a book that I had been putting off for quite some time because of the hype, because of what the anticipation of this book did to me. And it is one of those that will forever live up to the hype, that I will forever recommend, that I will want to reread at some point, and that is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. It's so sad that we will never get any more from this author. Also, really quick, I do have some of these books, a lot of these books, but for this video's purpose, I'm just gonna put them up next to me. It's gonna be easier. So, the Mindfuck series. How do you encompass the greatness that is the Mindfuck series, that is Lana Myers, that is Logan, that is just amazingness. It pulled everything I love about reading into one, because I started as, even when I was younger, when I really started getting into reading, when I was pre-teens, I was very into mysteries, and then in my teens and young adult years, I went into mystery, thriller, psychological thrillers, and then went into YA, and then into romance. That's my progression of reading. It kind of brought that back because you have a little bit of suspense and that mystery, and just it's all there. It's all there. Honestly, I never thought. You never know how beautiful revenge can be until you read the Mindfuck series, and just everything that Lana and what she went through breaks my heart. But then to watch how her mind works, to watch how her mind created this person and how it fueled everything, and then when she meets Logan, how she's able to shed a little bit of the harshness of who she became and show a little bit of vulnerability, but also is this complete fucking badass. And everything I love about my heroines. You can be a little naive, you can be a little innocent, you can need a man, and I love that about a woman, because we have a softness about us. But I want to see growth, I want to see strength, I want to see you become your own, that character development, and you are strong in your own right. Don't be stupid. That's where you get put on the worst list and you become a DNF. Anyway, the Mindfuck series, forever and ever, will be just amazing. Next up, I have That Sick Love by Jessie Hall. So last year I found Jessie Hall with Hawk, and that will forever be my. It's my first love. You know what I mean? But Arrow and Brioni, they brought something a little bit different. Like, I couldn't stop. I loved the stalker-esque. I love, like, Jessie Hall does dark really well, but she always has, and this is what I loved about this one, is there's a message in it. And I know that, like, some people shy away from religious aspects in books, but I don't know. I feel like I can separate myself a little bit. There is a little, I mean, but there is truth to it. Just a very, she went down a very dark slope of some truth that has been out there, but ultimately the messages that she gives in her books, if you're looking for them, I mean, they're pretty blatant, some of them, but some of them, I mean, there's just, I don't know. I love the way she writes. I haven't loved everything I've read from her, but I haven't read her entire backlist yet. I haven't read Canary Cowards yet. I need to get on that. I have been like listening and reading Kid for pretty much all of 2024, so I need to finish that. But I don't know. I got a message, and I think that's why I love this book so much, is because there was a message that I got from it. And Brioni's strength, the way that Arrow, it's on my, there it is. I mean, I don't know. We can go around in circles. It's not going to get any better. I mean, I loved it. There you go. On to the next, and I believe I know which one the next one is. Okay. Like, this one brought out my love for a cinnamon roll hero. First off, we're just gonna say, like, it's Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. It was I don't know what took me so long. Again, just like the Mindfuck series, there was a lot of hype around this one. There was a lot of like talk and chatter around this one, and so my anticipation for it, my need for it to be that good was pretty high. And so, well, it didn't let me down for sure. But here's the thing I want to say about this. Like, I need to reread this at some point. Not only do I have a couple copies, but I would love to annotate this book. But I feel like, even though I absolutely love this book, I did not do it justice. And here is why. I was not anticipating such a cinnamon roll hero. I thought, and I mean, it could be because of, like, look at the extensive backlist that I've had of dark romances and mafias and just like the over the top alpha hero. Like, that's what we love. That's what I love. So with Noah, I wasn't expecting such a cinnamon roll hero, and quite frankly, I thought he was too good to be true. And I was waiting for this other shoe to drop. Like, he was going to show his true self at some point. And when I realized, like, this is Noah, and I was able to completely appreciate who he is. I was pretty far in the book. Not to say, like, it took anything away from the book, but knowing what I know now, I want to reread it anyway, because I want to annotate it, like I said. But I just, Noah freaking Riley, you guys. I never knew I could love a cinnamon roll hero so flippin' much. I mean, he broke my heart. He mended it. He broke it again. His mom broke it. Ariana, like, it was beautiful. His patience, his strength, just wise beyond his years, and then, you wanting to strangle Ariana and being so stupid at sometimes, but like, that's how you are. You're young, you make mistakes, you don't always see what is right in front of you. And I wanted to, like, slap her, but, like, all in good fun, because I love her. I wanted to give her a hug as well. And then there's the whole, like, dynamic of the family, like her and Mason, and they've created this really amazing friendship with these people, and it was just all of it I loved. I did not like Mason's book as much as I liked Say You Swear, because Peyton, but that's for another day. But Say You Swear is like, it's on a pretty high, it's on a pretty high pedestal. Let me just say that. So let's move on, because we do not want to be here all day, do we? Next up, I actually have a trilogy, and you do have to read it as a trilogy, because it is a consecutive trilogy, and that is The Evolution of Sin by Gianna Darling. So we have The Affair, The Secret, The Consequence. So Gianna Darling is my top read author of the year. I read 8 books by her, and I could have put more than half of the books. Well, I do actually have. I could have put a lot of those books on here, but I had to give everybody some love. But these books, they just stood out to me. There was so much there. So this ultimately is about Giselle and Sinclair. Giselle has a really big family, and we are getting her last brother like real soon. But they are different areas too. So we have like Giselle and Sinclair, but we also have one of her sisters, and that's a little bit into the mafia. And then we have another brother who we're getting, who's like I think like a movie star, and then we have somebody else. I can't remember. I haven't read that one. But these two, they meet on a plane, and Sinclair just sees something in Giselle and offers to have an affair with her when they realize that they're staying at the same resort after they get off the plane. And the first book is all about their week and basically falling in love, and him being like a little bit of a Dom, like a little bit of the Dom comes out. The Dom comes out, which I think like, I mean, I definitely wasn't expecting, and I liked it. And then we go into The Secret, where she's back home. She's back with her family in New York, and she did not expect to see Sinclair again. I'm not going to do any spoilers for you, but I was like, I mean, I definitely saw it coming. I definitely, you can definitely see, we're not trying to hide anything, but it's really good. And then we go into The Consequence, which is obviously the finale, but the love that they have for one another, the way that their bodies just naturally speak to one another. And then when you bring in the Dom sub and you bring in other kinks, that it's just, well, first of all, it's really hot. And then you bring in Gianna's ability to weave a story with such beauty and poetry and these just gorgeous. I mean, clearly I do not have what she has because I can't speak at the moment, but it was just, I mean, it was a beautifully written story. These two characters who were not supposed to meet, who did meet, who fell in love, and who have to now deal with these consequences if they want to stay together. And it had me in a chokehold for the amount of time that I read it. And if you haven't read it, I'd highly recommend it. I do need to get to the other siblings so that I can read the new one that's coming out. Also, like, let me know, is there anything that has surprised you thus far? Next up, you guys, I fell down a rabbit hole with MM. I fell down a rabbit hole with rock stars this year that has become like a new favorite genre. Like, just MM, I love. Rock stars, I've just found some really epic books. I also fell down, and I didn't even mean to, but I fell down sports. I fell down sports romance, and like I had no idea that I was going to do that, but there we go. So we've definitely got some things coming, but this one embodies a couple of them. For the Fans by Nyla K. Holy shit! Where did this book come from, and how can I get more like speechless? This book left me speechless. I wish that we could, I mean, we need to like petition. We need to be able to do more than 5 stars. Like, this is for sure like a 6 star. If I did 6 stars, 6 stars. I would do that if other platforms would allow us to do more than 5 stars. Like, if Goodreads had a 6 star, if Fable or whoever, like if somebody had 6 stars, that was universally used, I would absolutely be using that. But for purposes of, I mean, this one has all the stars, let's just say. So I've said MM romance, but I was falling down that rabbit hole, but I was looking for some step sibling romances, and I came across this one. I had heard a couple things about it, but like, I don't know, it wasn't really out there until like around the time that I started reading it. And then I think I started seeing it more, and that could just be because when something's on your radar, you start seeing it a little bit more. But for all intents and purposes, like, I thought that it was pretty underhyped. Then it kind of did blow up for a little bit, but with much need. Like, much need. Avi in, okay, if I am pronouncing his name wrong, please let me know. Like, is it supposed to be Kieran or is it supposed to be Kyron? Kyron just, I don't know, like, it just sounded weird when I was reading, so I went with Kieran. If it's none of those and I'm just saying it wrong, please, again, let me know, because I need to do this justice. This was so fucking good. This was a book that you must read. I mean, I don't think that it would even matter if you weren't into a little bit of taboo, if you weren't even into romance. The relationship between these two, the push and the pull, the I loved everything about it. The awakening, the bullying, if you will, the anger that comes from Kieran because he just doesn't know what is happening. He knows what's happening, but he's fighting it. And it's just, I mean, you feel it. You were in this, you were in it with them. You see their day to day lives. It was like Say You Swear. You're in these epic moments with them, and it fuels the fire. But the tension, like, you feel this connection. Like, this is why I read. This is what I'm talking about. Like, with these books right here, they make you feel. They make you angry and sad, and they give you all the good emotions and even the bad emotions in a good way. The relationship, the character development, the knowing that, like, I need to step away for the betterment of me so I can be better for you. Just loved every single minute of it, and I wish I could do it all again for the first time. I wish I could do it all again for the first time, because this book was just epically written. If you haven't read it, what are you doing? Why? Why would you do that to yourself? Why? Okay, next up, we have another Gianna Darling book. This one is, oh, I don't know. I don't know what book it is, and I always butcher the number. It is Caution to the Wind by Gianna Darling. I don't know what number it is, what number it falls in. Is it number 7? I'm going to butcher it. Anyway, so we're back with Fallen Men series. I mean, this entire series. I love this entire series. I love all these men for many different reasons, and I love the way she writes females. I love how they can be timid and innocent and a little bit naive, but still be strong. Not all of them are timid and meek, but they have this strong sense of self, and that's what I love about her women. But this one went up there because, first off, you got Axeman. Like, Jesus Christ, I've been wanting his book for so long, and like, I finally got to it. And I had purposely been reading these, like, not binge reading The Fallen Men, because I wanted this world to last just a little bit longer. But at some point this year, I was like, we're about to get another one, and I can't read that one until I finish. So I ended up reading like 3 back to back. But Axeman, a faux show. But May stands out so much for me. She was such a strong individual, and even when she was so young, you could see the strength that she had. The just adamant nature to want to protect what's hers and her family and this found family that she has, and wanting to protect. They are mine, and I will keep them safe. And even when she's doing stupid things, it's all in the vein of keeping my family and my people safe, because they would do the same for me. And when she and Axeman come back together, that hate relationship, like, it just fueled the fire for me. I loved that relationship between them, because we hadn't gotten too much of that prior with all these other men. That tension between them, I love it. I mean, I didn't realize I liked it so much, and that comes up in another book later on. This she just Gianna did it really well. She did that relationship really well. That I need you, but I hate you, but I'm gonna take you. But we're gonna talk about it later, because I really want to slap you, and I'm probably gonna be a little rough with you, but you're gonna like it because I want you. Just, I loved it. And then you've got that entire story as well. Like, the plot was just phenomenal. It was heartbreaking what May had to go through, but those two, like, they solidified something for me, for sure. Next up, This was actually an arc, another backlist author that I need to read, but I requested to be a part of an arc of Heartbreak and Harmony, which was the second book in this series. I read the first book. It is a rock star romance, and again, fell down that rabbit hole. Was lucky enough to be able to get an arc, but honestly, I feel like I loved this book more than the first one. Torin and Callie, I just there was just something about them. So we have Torin, who was this like tortured soul that we met in the first book, and he's the bad boy rocker. He's got a bad reputation for being, just out of sorts, but he definitely is somebody else behind closed doors. And then we have Callie, who is just, again, what I love from my female main characters. She was just completely badass. And I loved her. Like, she didn't take any punches. She told you how it was. If you fucked up, she was going to tell you that you fucked up. I loved moments with her, and I loved the moments with them. And I thought the way that they met, was such an incredible. I mean, like, you want to say like it was a meet cute, but it was like a meet steamy. I mean, because it was just fire. Well, there was fire involved. If you know, you know. It was hot. I mean, we say meet cute, but let me tell you, this meat was anything but cute. I mean, again, it was the chemistry between Torin and Callie it was so visceral. I mean, you feel like you were in that moment, that you were looking across the lawn at these two. They had that type of connection and the chemistry in the book that if this was a movie, it would be one of those, we're circling them and everything else disappears. It's just them two. I mean, it was phenomenal. I really loved it. I think you should read it if you haven't, because I don't think that you would be disappointed at all. And it's rocker, and there's some like drama. It's all the good stuff. What else do I have? Another new to me author, and another like new author. I think she only has 4 books out. I've read 4 books so far. I think that's all she has out. I still have to do a little bit of research, but I mean, like, we're about to get the next book in this series that I'm about to talk about in April, and like, I can't wait. But we're talking about Shattered Ice by P.S. Black. Holy balls! Didn't I tell you? I fell down a sports hole. There you go. I fell down that. We got sports. We got hockey. I fell down like, it's like, what is it with sports and just hockey? I mean, like, I wasn't even meaning to, and it was like, I would pick up a book and there's hockey. This is taboo. It is forbidden. It is also teacher student. So, I mean, like, you guys, like, you're going to be seeing this book a little bit more. This one is between Bodhi and Braden. And oh my god, these two break my heart. And then there's also another B character in it who, I mean, I will just start crying, so we can't talk about that. But Bodhi is dealing with a loss of his own, and he decides he just needs to make a fresh start. And he moves to Michigan to start teaching. I'm not going to say too much because the loss comes in a previous book, which is a funny story, and we can get into that if we need to, but like, I didn't realize what was going on. Anyway, so he has moved to Michigan and he starts teaching, and there is this boy man, one of his students who is just, I don't know, I think he comes off a little bit, well, he definitely comes off rude when they meet, but he comes off maybe a little entitled or flippant, like, I don't need to be here, but I am, and this is as good as you're going to get from me, so deal with it. But there is something about him that pulls Bodhi to him to be just a little bit inquisitive, needing to know what's going on with this guy. Like, why do I feel the need that I need to watch him, and not just like, you might be a troublemaker? And that's just the start of it. This guy is obviously Braden. Braden is dealing with a lot of issues of his own. He is a star hockey player for his school, but his home life is not so spectacular. He's not star worthy for sure. And Bodhi just has this need to protect. And their relationship starts, and there's a lot of mess that goes around, but I'm not spoiling shit for anybody. You have to read this. It is gut wrenching. It is sad. It is poignant. Bodhi has never liked a man before, so it's awakening, but he comes alive when him and Brayden are together, and he's like possessive and he doesn't understand like what's going on. Like, why am I jealous and possessive, and why am I caring that any man is going to touch my man, and I haven't even had this man? And it's just like everything is there. The little bit possessive, the little bit alpha, a little bit over the top at times, the secretive affair, the teacher student, the protectiveness, the vulnerability, the emotions. These two are just I can't like, there is no way that I could, there's just no way. Which brings me to another new to me author who does not have a serious backlist either. This book took me completely by surprise. So I found this book on a Stuff Your Kindle day. It just sounded good. I was in my rock star moment. I was actually looking for rock star recommendations so that I could do a part two. And that's where I found this one, but I didn't pick it up right away. I didn't pick it up until later in the year. This is called The Music That Ties Us. It's by Nicolette Terry, and it took me completely by surprise. Like, it is a hidden gem. It is definitely not hyped up enough. I will definitely be hyping this book up. I don't think it's the first time that I've mentioned this book. It's the first time that I'm talking about it extensively. It will not be the last by a long shot. So here we're following Damien and Cadence. He is a rock star. She is out to enjoy herself, and that's where they meet. So I mean, it is no surprise because I've been talking about it. I've read quite a few Rockstar books, and there can be a little bit of a formula with Rockstar, but the way that an author can tweak that a bit is where the beauty of a Rockstar romance comes into play. And when they can introduce a little bit of uniqueness, I think that really does something. I loved the storyline. I loved these characters. They were so complex. There was so much going on with them. It's not just about being a rock star. They have, I mean, life is messy. There are messy moments, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And you go to a rock concert and you're having a grand time and you're, loving life, but you go home and there's mess that you have to deal with. There's other things. He is dealing with other things. He's trying to be the best person that he can be and not feel sorry for the things that he's done that other people are trying to drag him down for. Like, he's dealing with some demons. Damien definitely is. And that is one of the reasons that I really loved Cadence's character and the way that she helps Damien in many, many ways. Damien, from the start, like, he sees that there's something there with Cadence. Cadence has a little bit of an issue because she does have a boyfriend, but there is that infamous pull between Cadence and Damien definitely tries to push Cadence away before either of them get too far into this, even though there is this magnetic pull to be with each other. I know what can happen if I fall for you, so like, you need to go away. Like I said, that pull for one another is just too intense, and they just can't stay away from each other. Again, like, this little snippet can't do enough, and we will talk more about this and dive a little bit deeper. But like I said, storyline supreme, the characters epic, even the side characters. I really enjoyed the side characters, and I wouldn't mind having a little bit more from them because then we can see a little bit more of Damien and Cadence. I'm just saying. Okay, so here is my 10th and final book, and it shattered me in so many ways. It took me by surprise. I think we're just going to get into it. So, no pun on the shattered me. We had Shattered Ice, now we have Shattered Dreams. This one is by Natasha Madison. It was the first time that I read anything by Natasha Madison, another backlist author. She's got an extensive backlist too. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but holy balls, like, how am I gonna read all those? I wasn't anticipating this. I was looking for a small town, easy read, and oh my god, it was just, when I say amazing, like, that just doesn't do it justice. Charlie and Autumn, I mean, does that do it? Does that encompass everything? When I tell you, I have never seen a hate to love done so well. I've seen hate to love done well, but not like this. Not where it was consistent. When you get a hate to love, sometimes there's like animosity to love. It's not really hate to love. It's like you really can't hate somebody you love. Do you know what I mean? But this was hate to love. Charlie hates Autumn. And it's not that he hates Autumn, he hates what Autumn represents. And he does hate Autumn a little bit, for sure. But it is bigger than Autumn. It is, I need somebody to put all of this into, and it's gonna be you. I mean, I hate you, but I hate a lot of things that are around you, and so I'm putting it all into you. And when we get typical hate to loves, I've found that it's just hate, hate, I'm loving you. This is, like I said, it's a repetitive hate. Like he comes at her time and time again. It's hate, and it is good. Even the hate sex that they have, and oh, dude, like what was so good. Like I could not put this down. It's not even a big book. I could not put it down. I needed more. I mean, it was everything. The small town that they have going on, the corruption that they have going on, these two that are hating themselves, hating each other, hating the situation that they're in, who used to be friends. So they went from friends to just enemies to he completely hates her to this all consuming love that I mean, it broke me. It it broke me. My heart shattered for these two on multiple occasions. I was angry for them. I was angry with them. You feel everything. Like you feel Charlie's hate, you feel his anguish, you feel his grief, you feel it from Autumn. You feel her just wanting to live again and feeling like I don't even know that if I should. I'm guilty for it. You know, you guys, such a great book. Again, if I could give it more than 5 stars, I would have. It's just, I loved every moment of this, even the hard times. It was good. It was good. There are my 10 books. Again, this was really hard to narrow it down because I read so many good books. What I want to do is take a moment to do some honorable mentions. I don't want this to be long. We've got to talk about a few things. So we talked about Gianna Darling. I always mess up this title because, well, it's Serpentine Valentine. I always want to say something else. So we have a dark academia. We have a Medusa retelling. We have a sapphic love. These two, Lex and Luna, again, it's Gianna Darling, so you know that you're going to have this beautifully written book with these really complex, thought out characters, a storyline that just gets you. And Lex, I mean, she gutted me, but it is an amazing book and it needs to be mentioned. So it's honorably being mentioned right here. You've got to read it if you haven't. It was really good. It was really good. So we're going to go back to some rock stars. I mean, like, holy shit. I'm like looking at this now. One, two, there's quite a few. Anyway, Love to Hate Her by J. Simon. This is a rock star romance. It's between Viola and Jasper. Viola used to date Jasper's twin. And now she's back to take care of his child. And now she's going to try out the other twin. But, so much more than a rock star romance. Like the depth and the it was so good. Like there was so much. That little girl, oh, she kills me. Oh my god, that little girl. Sky Full of Stars by Chris Riley. Another rock star romance. This one is between Adam and Jenna. It was refreshing because it had a different take on a rock star romance. She has no idea who he is and really frankly like just doesn't give a shit and thinks 80s music is actually the best thing since sliced bread and like that's what we should be listening to and that's her era, so that's where she stays. And she's strong. She's a strong heroine. She does not need a man who come in and sweep her off her feet. Like she's got a life. If you want to be a part of that, great. But like I don't need you to ride your coattails. It ain't gonna happen. I'm my own person, and I think Adam loves that about her as well. And it was just a really good book. Like one other one that I couldn't put it down. My next honorable mention has to be Older by Jennifer Hartman. The Playlist, The Forbiddenness. These two meet. Haley and Reed. Good God, me and these character names. Haley and Reed meet, and it is a meet cute. Like we'll go back to like it was like a hot cute. No, this was actually a really cute meeting. They had this really intense, really quick connection, and then she learns later on that, oops, I lied to him and told him I was older than I am, but that only matters because now he realizes, and she didn't realize it either, but now they both realize that she is his daughter's best friend. His daughter pissed me off. I mean, as she should have, but their story, the wanting to be together and trying to do right for their loved ones, but being pulled to like I wanna live my life, and I why should I live a lesser life? And like that was what I kept like screaming, is like, you would rather have these two be completely unhappy or just deal with it. It was a good book, and it should definitely be read. The 90s playlist was phenoms. I had to put a whole series on here because the bromance. The Pucking Wrong series by C.R. Jane. I fell into that. And then like got encapsulated with it for like a week. These crazy men, each of them are psycho. I thought it was hilarious. Like they were completely over the top, completely alpha male. Just the shenanigans that these men get into to keep their women and what they do, and they all have to have something done with their member. It was like, I loved it. I mean, like, I think like, well, I'm not supposed to laugh at the just absurdness of these men, but I just couldn't help it. It was steamy as hell too, and hot, and I loved all of it. But like, they made me laugh. They really did. They made me laugh. Let's see, we've got a couple more. So Maestro, A Love Story. I know. Why was this not on my top 10? It was an amazing book, and it is. It made my top 10 and then got bumped, and then made my top 10 and then got bumped. This one this is very reminiscent of a love letter to whiskey. These two drove me crazy, but in the best possible way. Chad and Aurelia, like we meet them when they meet. They meet when they're 13, and it's this epically long love story of them finding each other and losing, and finding and losing, and all while classical music and symphonies and music is this third character in their relationship, and really a third character in the actual book. And I thought it was beautifully written. It's a long ass book, and it will anger you, but it's beautiful. The Rocker's Muse by Penelope Ward. Another rock star romance, you guys. I mean, I read so much. This rock star in it, but he's like running away and they're traveling, and I thought it was very uniquely done. Penelope Ward does a really good job. Tristan and Emily, like this relationship that they have when they're bonding, driving around in this van, RV camper kind of thing. The way he comes back to music, and the way that they share their playlists, and they have these really epic talks, and it was just it took me by surprise. Like I didn't think that I was gonna like it as much as I did, and I definitely did. So here's one more. Another one by Penelope Ward was Stepbrother Dearest. Remember I said I was looking for step siblings? This one I was looking for like some bully-esque as well. Not like super bully. He's just mean to her. Like I wouldn't say he's bully, but he does it for a reason. I cannot remember our character's name, but her name is Greta. I just really liked this dynamic. He's got a lot of animosity, but he has it for a reason, but is just not known right away. But he is just very, I mean, you would say like he's like troubled. He's got a really bad attitude as a teenager, but she ends up getting under his skin. They end up having this thing. He takes her B card. They have an epically great night, and then he disappears, and she doesn't see him for 7 years, but he's back for a death in the family, and he's brought his girlfriend, and she has no idea the relationship that they have, but then they get thrown together and take this kind of like this road trip-esque kind of thing, and you know, they still have this what they would think unrequited love for each other, but it was just it was really good and I really liked it. There was just it was good. Okay. Anyway, those are my honorable mentions. Those are my top 10 books of 2024. Now I want to know what your top books of 2024 are. Leave them in the comments for me below. Next up, I have worst books of 2024. Oh, we've got to come up with some other way to say that. And then I have a couple other things. I want to do a anticipated of 2025 video, and I would really like to do maybe something like series that I want to read, but I'm still doing a little bit of research on that, and then we're going to get into the recommendation videos that I've been telling you guys are coming. They are coming, but a little bit of housekeeping and then we'll get to those. If there is something specific that you want to see right away, let me know. I can kind of filter that into the content spreadsheet that I've already created. So, but anyway, let me know what your top books of 2024 were, or just let me know what you're reading right now. I will catch you in my next video, but until next time, happy reading. Bye.